Hello and welcome to another episode of the New York Sports Rush. Sal Licata, John Jastrzemski. I'm here in my office at home. JJ, of course, enjoying a nice vacation all week long. Dude, you picked the right week to go on vacation. Just nothing doing. Like trade deadline week, nothing doing. Obviously, a little trade last night with the Mets and AJ Minter, not a big deal. One thing is your Yankees, though, and I'm be curious to get your take because we have not discussed this yet. It bothered me yesterday when I'm seeing reports that Skubal is going to be traded and the Dodgers are the favorite to land him. I know you and I disagree on what the Yankees' priority should be, but dude, if the Dodgers get Skubal and the Yanks again sit on their hands, that's a wrap. Good, you're not beating the Dodgers. So, or if he goes to the Brewers or the Rays, that's going to hurt the Yankees too. Where are you at with the Yankees and some of the reports that are out there and the way that they've played, losing 2 crushing games in a row to the White Sox?
Okay, so despite the fact that I've been on vacation, Sal, Wednesday night, watching this game over a couple of cocktails, not a pleasant experience on the front porch. Thursday afternoon, get back from a round of golf, 2:00 game. Everybody's getting ready, and I'm able to dial in and watch the Yankee bats again whiff and whiff and whiff and fail and fail and fail, and make it as painful as possible considering you get 2 electric stars. Cam Schlittler on Wednesday, lose that game, probably one of the worst losses of the season. And then on Thursday with Weathers, who threw the ball great. And it's amazing to me, Sal, how embarrassing they are in extra innings on the road. Like, there needs to be like a federal investigation to why the Yankees continue to be such an absolute joke when they play these extra inning games and the other team and the Yankees get to run around second base. Like, we could be making a fortune, you and I, if we just watch these games, see the Yankees on the road go to extra innings. We should be unloading, betting against them in these spots because the record is so comically bad. It's the worst in all baseball, for goodness sakes. But it speaks to their problem of not being able to situationally hit. So that really bothered me. It irked me. And I think bigger picture, people are going to say, oh, well, Judge isn't there, and Stanton isn't there, and Bellinger isn't there. But Sal, this has been a script that has haunted this team, that has followed this team, that doesn't seem to be going away. So that always is a sounding alarm for me. Now,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to say on Skubal, I'm not sounding the alarm yet. If he ends up with Tampa or Milwaukee, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to be okay if he goes to the Dodgers. Because then, to your point, if he ends up with the Dodgers, and this goes for the Yankees and every other team throughout the sport, really? Like, do we need to play the postseason? Like, I know it's baseball. I know anything can happen in a 5 or a 7-game series. They're unreal to begin with. They've won back-to-back World Series. They don't need them. They're getting guys back. If they get Tarek Skubal, do we really need to watch the postseason?
Bro, that's the thing. Like, this is what the Yankees should be doing. It is infuriating. I truly believe that the Mets would be operating like that had they been close. The Yankees are right there. The Yankees are maybe a mile behind the Dodgers. The Mets are 50. The Mets aren't even on the same highway. They're in different states. So they can't do that. But the Yankees are close enough to where they should start to close the gap. And yet it's the Dodgers every time. To your point, we had this conversation on SNY in the offseason. How come the Dodgers, who won back-to-back World Series championships, can go out there and get the best closer on the market and the best outfielder on the market in Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz? And I don't care how they didn't work out. Like, okay, sometimes moves don't work out, whatever, but you respect them for trying. They didn't need to do it because they just won 2 World Series in a row, but they did do it on top of that. And now on top of that, Ohtani's got a boo-boo on his knee. He might not pitch in the postseason. They got Glass now and Snell still coming back. They still have Yamamoto in that rotation. And there, maybe the front runners, according to Jeff Passan, we're not just making this up. Like Jeff Passan said, Skubal's going to be traded, and the Dodgers are the favorites to land him. Now they're in on him. Like, when will it end? Why don't the Yankees operate like that? It drives me freaking nuts.
It's pretty simple, Sal. Ownership, ownership, ownership. Right? That to me is what it boils down to. People could look at Cashman. People could look at the Yankee front office and say, oh, they're prospect huggers. They don't want to move on from guys. If they're going and taking on Skubal for the next 2 months and mortgaging the farm, to me, don't you get the sense that's going to be an ownership call?
Yeah, I mean, but still, it's not. I agree that it is I think it's a combination. I agree that it's ownership when it comes to financial resources, and I believe that it's Cashman when it comes to prospect resources. They have been, give them credit, they've been consistent. This is not new. So, like, I feel weird even getting nuts and yelling about it because it's been going on for so long. But when it's bad enough that we've seen it happening, which was a change from the way that the Yankees used to operate themselves. Now, not only is it a change from the way that they used to operate, we're seeing another team operate the way that they used to operate. The Dodgers are out Yankeeing the Yankees, and they have been doing it for a while. Oh, and by the way, that like they're winning World Series. So you can't, like, Cashman will just be like, well, we throw stuff at the wall and so hope it sticks and, get to the playoffs every year. That's why we've been unlucky. The Astros cheated. That's why we haven't won a World Series since 2009. And the Dodgers are just sitting back laughing, being as aggressive as possible. So it makes me mad. I can imagine you as a Yankee fan, maybe you just throw your hands up at this point. You expect it. I'm fighting the good fight here, saying you need to get the best impact players. But when I see the Dodgers, you're right. It would bother me if the Brewers or Rays get them. But if the Dodgers get them, dude, that is another level of just futility. Go to sleep. Betty bye. It's over. Nobody's touching the Dodgers. End of story. Yankees can't compete with them. Nobody can.
Nobody can. And that's why I'm going to reserve judgment on the Yankees missing out on Skubal. As you know, I don't want to sound hypocritical. He has not been my number one target throughout this trade deadline combo. The guy I've been fantasizing about pitches in San Diego and comes out of the bullpen. But Sal,
you think they're getting him, though? You think Miller's realistically going to be traded?
50-50.
Okay, so you still have hope that he might be moved.
But I think this needs to be addressed. I'm going to throw two names at you. They need to get multiple bats. I can't deal with this offense. I can't deal with this offense. And one has been thrown out in Luis Arraez that we've talked about quite a bit. I'm giving you another one. Toronto is selling. Toronto has had a nightmarish season. Everything has gone wrong. I know it's going to require some financial gymnastics to make this happen. Sal, I want George Springer in the walk year of his deal. I don't want to sit and wait for Giancarlo Stanton. I need another outfielder anyway. Trent Grisham has been an abomination since he's come back off the IL. I'm getting tired of watching Dominguez in his 650 OPS. It would only be a 2-month rental. So it's not one of these situations where it's like, oh, you're on a hook for Springer, or like Rafael. Like, people threw out Rafael Devers' name. And I'm like, no, this is a hideous idea because he's got like 9 years left on his contract, north of $30 million a year. Stupid. Doesn't make sense.
Plus, where you playing him? You put him at third?
Butcher. Correct.
Yeah.
Butcher. I know Springer's defense is not great in the outfield. And I know he's not had a great offensive season. He is a winning player. For anyone who doesn't think otherwise, go watch the postseason. The Yankees need difference makers in the postseason, right? Like, they're going to be in the playoffs. That is a guy to me, if you put him in the Yankee lineup over the final 2 months of the year, you say, big boy, you're playing in the postseason again. You beat this team forever. Now you can go and play with them. That's a call I think you make if you're Brian Cashman.
I like the idea. I guess I'm just trying to think this through. See, here's the dilemma. And by the way, if Judge and Stanton, Bellinger, like, if they're more banged up than the Yankees are letting everybody know, then I would call off the dogs and be like, okay, well, there's no need to go all in at the trade deadline. But assuming that those guys are going to come back at some point, then how are you aligning like Springer? I love the bat. I wanted the Mets to get him years ago instead of Lindor. That was the guy I wanted the Mets to go get in free agency, George Springer. We saw what he did in Houston. You saw what he did in Toronto. Like, now you've seen what he's done in Toronto. The guy's a beast. He's a gamer. So he's a perfect fit, other than I don't want him in the outfield all the time. And when they get healthy, how are you going to – I mean, you're just going to worry about that later? How the hell?
I'll worry. Yes, I'll worry about it later. And I know for sure, listen, not that I think he'd be a part-time player. Judge is coming back. Bellinger's coming back. Are we sure Stanton's coming back?
Okay. And then in that scenario, what are you going to do with Spring? You'd have him in
and
one
play
of the
him, play him in the outfield. Definitely play him against left-handed pitching. Will help you against left-handed pitching. And then figure out some sort of financial gymnastics with the money with Toronto. Like, I think Toronto at this point in time, if you're going to go and pick up $5-6 million, whatever it might be, they're down. They'll do it. Now, again, that requires the Yankees, Sal, acting like the Yankees. Like, They may have to take on some contract for 2 months. To me, it's worth it. Like, I want legit. Here's the problem, Sal. I can't have situations late in games where, like, Anthony Volpe is hitting, right? Or whoever the catcher may be is hitting. And by the way, we spent a lot of time on a catcher front for the Yankees.
Yeah, I was going to get to that next.
Who are they getting? Minnesota just, I know. Did they keep you laid up?
Yeah.
So why for AJ Minter? Was that?
No, because the freaking game, there was a rain delay, so we didn't get on until late last night anyway. So I happened to get on.
We didn't blow up the show for AJ Minter. Okay. Just, I was curious. Just wondering from afar.
No, he's the first go. Yeah, right. So Dude, 3 days ago, you're probably playing putt-putt golf. What's his name? Passing comes out and says, Jeffers to the Yankees seems inevitable. Then that night, it's the Twins aren't selling anymore. The Twins are going to be buyers. So now another one off the board. A couple of catches already got moved. Rutschman comes up. Adley Rutschman. I mean, if you're the Orioles and you trade that kid to the Yankees.
How do you trade him to the Yankees?
You got a fold-up shot. You can't do that. They can't trade him to the Yankees. So I do think, though, bare minimum, I don't know about Springer. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a rise. I don't know about that. I think bare minimum, Yankees are going to bring up Lombard. That'll be the upgraded shortstop. Then they move Caballero wherever they need to move him. They will get a catcher and probably a bullpen arm. I think that's bare minimum what the Yanks will do.
I guess I can live with it. I need to see who the bats are, though. Bro, I need to see who the catcher is.
To beat the Dodgers, you need more than that. Let me give you a couple of just reports that I'm seeing coming down here. The Brewers are among the teams showing strong interest in Luke Weaver. This according to Will Salmon and Rosenthal. So, forget about
Stearns has the relationship there. I've already made a trade with Peralta. Makes sense.
Forget about sense. And it's not even from a Mets perspective. It's also a Yankee perspective, trying to get one of those bullpen arms. If it's not going to be Luke Weaver, then where are the arms? Again, you think Miller 50-50. I'm not sure. I have not paid attention. I thought the Padres were starting to win a little bit, and it felt like it was not. Most people that we talk to, whether it's our buddy Jim Duquette or some of the people around the league that cover this stuff, are saying that they don't think that Miller will be moved. Then you start thinking about who's going to be the bullpen arms that the Yankees get if it's not Mason Miller.
There'll be guys you never heard of. That's usually how it works with Cashman. And to his credit, hey, who heard of Brett Hedrick?
Yeah, he's been
before
great.
They made the trade. He's been great. Or like we've heard of Paul Blackburn, and we weren't exactly enamored with Paul Blackburn, and he's done a wonderful, wonderful job. I got to be honest, Sal.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised with the way it ended last year for Weaver with the Yankees if he ends up back there. That's just my guess. I don't think Luke Weaver ends up back with the Yankees.
Fair enough. Plus, the price is going to be he's under control for another year. The Mets need to make sure they maximize that, and he's in high demand. So I think the price is going to be more than what the Yankees would be willing to pay, especially for the guy who wasn't very good there last year. Padres right now 2 back in the wild card. So, I mean, are they going to be selling Miller? It was going to be a long shot anyway. Dude, Yankees got some work to do. That's the thing. So you could go get Springer. You could get a rise. All right, that helps the lineup, get everybody else back healthy, and then I guess roll the dice. I mean, you have a loaded starting rotation even without Skubal, but is it as loaded as the competition? Are they, even if they make those moves, are they better than the Rays? Are they better than the Dodgers? I would still say probably definitely not the Dodgers.
No, I mean, I got to be honest, Sal. They could add Tarek Skubal. They're still not better than the Dodgers.
I know, but at least, see, that's why I want Skubal so bad, because I can argue you and say that the Yankees have the best rotation, the better rotation than the Dodgers. Now, you can throw Glass now at me, Yamamoto, Ohtani, assuming he's healthy, Snell. I would take my chances and say that Skubal, Schlittler, Cole, Fried is the best rotation in baseball. And at the very least, you'd have the better rotation going into a best-of-7 World Series with the Dodgers. That's why
I still think you might if Skubal doesn't end up in LA.
You're saying better, okay.
Meaning, I would take the Yankee rotation over the Dodger rotation. Assuming,
if Skubal just stays...
If Skubal goes to the Rays, if Skubal goes to the Brewers, if Skubal goes wherever, I would. I wouldn't take the lineup. I wouldn't take the overall vibe of the team. They know how to win. They know how to play baseball the right way. You can't always say that about the Yankees. Let's be honest. We saw it in the games this week. We saw it in the games against it. It's amazing how out of rhythm they look when they have these guys playing out of position, though. It drives me. Dude, the Wednesday game, and I know he's your buddy. Do we have to defend Ali Sanchez after the game? Come on. Aaron, you're smarter than that, dude. And I know he defends the players to a fault. Dude, that was one of the dumbest decisions. I said, bro, what the blank are you doing?
I know, you can't.
And McMahon defended it after the game. Come on, guys. It was stupid.
I will say, not to defend Boone, but you do got to make a better throw. First of all, you shouldn't be throwing the ball in that spot.
Don't throw the ball.
I understand that, but here's the bottom line. A big league catcher throws the ball at the guy's chest, at the third baseman's chest. Ali Sanchez, maybe a nice guy. He's not a big league.
See it in Scranton. Okay.
Yeah, he's not a big league catcher. I mean, dude, come on. The Mets cut him. You're like, he's not a big league catcher. Exactly. So that's the point. So Boone should have said you shouldn't throw the ball in that spot. But also, I agree, you're playing catch. Like, you got to, come on, this is the big leagues. You got to be able to make that play. I loved Boone. Yeah. Now it was two brutal losses, and you could tell the manager was ticked off.
Feeling it. Not a day to talk to the Yankee manager. Nope.
That is, dude, he was prickly yesterday, and I love that. We got to score a freaking point. By the way, you ever hear that? Like former players, for whatever reason, refer to runs as points. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't. And I wonder if it's like the football and the basketball terminology coming out of the guys. They're just sick of talking baseball and they want to talk like football and basketball guys. Great.
Ron Darling did it once on the broadcast and then was explaining it, how like players refer to them. I've never heard this playing.
I mean, we're not in the dugout. I guess that's
players
foreign
refer
language to me.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but we got to score some freaking points from Boone. And then he got testy when he was asked about the Jazz pickoff. Jazz getting picked off. He's like, that's what happens when you steal a base against a lefty. That's what happened. Like, when nothing excites me. I love pissy Aaron Boone. It just
you know why? Because you know what you like about it, and I agree with you on this. You hear him like on Wednesday, defending the players to a fault, being like, it's nice to see a little edge. It's nice to see a different side of somebody that's got to go and do. And dude, these managers, man, the more and more I think about it, Sal, like it never really dawned on me, but now I feel like it's insane. The idea that these guys from spring training until the end of the year have to talk to the media before the game, after the game, before the game, after the game. Dude,
it's too much.
Like, is it really? And I love, getting some sort of transparency. We like that in our line of work, but it's like, there are some days, dude, where I feel like what are we asking a manager today?
It should maybe you bring up a good point. Maybe it should be before a series and after each game. I don't mind.
After the game is a must.
Right.
After the game is a must. We got to dissect. I get that.
Before every game, I don't think you need before every game unless some news happens. A couple of pieces here before we get to some comments. Couple of pieces of questions for you. Well, one's a question, maybe two questions.
Sure.
86 weekend coming up for the Mets. I've been, me. That's like my childhood team. It's been 40 years, which is impossible to believe. I was at 2006 celebration, actually as a member of the media, and it was great to be in there with my childhood heroes at the old locker room at Shea. 2016, I was out there as a fan. That was the game that Syndergaard threw with Chase Utley, Terry Collins, ass in the jackpot.
Ass in the jackpot.
So I was at the 20 and 30. I'm wishy-washy on the 40. And I went last week. I told you the traffic and all that stuff. I don't know. Is this something it only happens every 10 years?
Okay. Can I defend you for a second here?
Yeah.
You went on Sunday.
Yeah.
The team stinks. I think it's totally okay if you watch from the comfort of your own home.
Okay. It's not about this team, obviously.
No,
like,
I know.
I wouldn't even say for the game. I'd go for the pre-games. I got a stupid Sweet 16 I got to go to this weekend anyway. But
is it the same? Is the Sweet 16 the same day as the 86?
Yeah. But I could go early in the day and see the celebration and then bounce. I'm probably not going to do it, but
no, it just seems like too much. Listen, I think Jesse Orozco and I think Keith and Ronnie will be okay with Salicata watching from home. I know you had Roger McDowell on. I saw that on Twitter a couple days ago. And listen, like, you've seen it. You've seen the 86. I'm sure you have because you're an 86 nut. The Kimmel Cousin Sal documentary on that.
Yes.
It's awesome. It was so good. I actually never saw it when it initially came out. And I was like, really? They made this a 4 or 5 part documentary? I was like, did they need to do that? They did. It was great.
I can't get enough of that team. I feel bad for those guys because those guys, to your point, those players, they earned me being there every 10 years. But I don't know. At this point,
I give you a pass. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. So I'll probably end up sitting that one out. Where are you at with Spider-Man? You're going to see it this weekend?
Not this week. So my wife actually brought up the whole Odyssey situation.
Have you seen that?
Okay.
No.
Well, you got to remember, bro, carving out 3.5 hours to forget about me being on vacation. 3.5 hours to go and see a movie now with a 14-month-old requires a lot of wiggle room, a lot of footwork. Like, there's work, there's this, there's games. It might happen this week. If we have one of the babysitters, it might happen this week. I want to see them. Dude, I love one of the best things I ever did during COVID. I watched all of the Marvel movies with my wife in the order they came out. And I mean, I saw a couple of them, but like from the first Iron Man all the way through, such a rewarding experience. So he's great at Spider-Man. Zendaya's in it. Yeah, I mean, I'll check it out.
My only issue is, so if I go back and I want to do what you said, the rewatch with the Marvel, although it's just become impossible now.
There's so many damn movies.
I know. I've seen them, at least the majority of them, if not all of them.
Well, at least do it to Endgame. Do it to the last Avengers movie, and then at least, you know.
So start, but you're saying from the Spider-Mans on, or no?
No, now there's two
general.
ways you can do this. The Marvel people, you could do it in quote unquote chronological order, which means like the years, or you can do it from the movie release dates.
I would do
That's
the
what
release.
I did.
Yeah, I would
That's
do
what
it from
I did.
the release dates. But then the Spider-Mans with the Tobey Maguire, do they count?
No. But now in this this verse that we're talking about, they've like worked them back in. And listen, now I'm a sucker. I went to that. I remember bunch of kids in school, 8th grade. You think you're hot, you know what? Going to the movies, and I had a huge crush on Kirsten Dunst. Loved her. Loved her. So like that Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, William Dafoe, those Spider-Man movies.
I love those movies.
They're like they're my coming of age movies.
But they were like,
I was a teenager, the whole deal.
They were like cartoony versions, but still very good. And then the Garfield ones, I think, very good. And now
never saw the Garfield ones.
What?
No,
you never saw the Andrew Garfield
Spider-Man?
Oh,
no. I thought you were talking about Garfield. Of course, the movies with Emma Stone. When you said Garfield, I'm thinking cat.
No.
I'm thinking a cat.
There is Garfield the movie. No, I've seen that cartoon.
Who did you think was the best Spider-Man of the bunch?
It's a great question. I think I would say the Andrew Garfield movies were the ones that probably, because it was coming off of the Tobey Maguire, which I liked, but was kind of that cheesy, cartoonish. Andrew Garfield ones and Emma Stone, right? Was his
Emma Stone was great in both of them. Not as Mary Jane. She was what's the other girl? Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. The Spider-Man people are gonna kill me. She had the other love interest. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm looking it up now because I don't want people are gonna yell at me for not knowing this. So I'm literally looking it up.
I would say Garfield.
Gwen Stacy. There we go. Gwen Stacy.
I would say the Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man just because that one hit me. I was like, wow, that was a great. I remember seeing that actually in the movies with Moose. We went in between shifts at SNY. It was a double unit day.
Nice.
And we went to see the movie down.
Well, the second one was super stunning. Like the way they ended it, it was like, whoa.
I love them. So I'll be into it. I just don't know when I'm going to get a chance. The Odyssey as well. I want to see the Odyssey too.
See, I would say Tobey Maguire for me. But the problem with here's the problem with Tobey Maguire movies. The first two are amazing. The third one is so bad. It left a real bad taste in your mouth. The third one is...
Which one was the third one again?
Oh, they had like 10 zillion villains. Okay. It was like with Venom and the Sandman. They had... James Franco was still involved. It was horrible. Horrible movie.
All right, let's hit some comments here. VMars8593. Love you guys together. Very cool that you're doing a show. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's been fun to do here. Did I hit something wrong here? Let's see what else we got. JT Thomas 9242. You get Scooble and we lose every game in the postseason, each 1-0. I know that that's an easy thing to say. Well, we have the pitching. Look at what Weathers did yesterday. Look at what Schlittler did, and you're still losing those games. I'm factoring in that Judge and Stanton will come back. The Yankees will bring up Lombard and probably add a catcher, maybe another bat. So the offense is going to get better, and I want to have as loaded, as dominant a rotation as you could possibly have, which is why I want Scooble there, JJ.
So I get it. I think they will still have themselves one hell of a rotation regardless. And I don't believe their rotation, with or without Scooble, will define their October. Like, they're going to have to win an AL and they're going to have to win a World Series, scoring some runs. Like, if this is the offense they have, and it shouldn't be, because to your point, they're getting guys back and they're going to have some reinforcements coming in. But if it is the same script that we've seen in October each of the last 8 or 9 years, it's going to be a quick exit for the Yankees.
Score some freaking points. All right, last one. It's over. XI7T or whatever. There is a serious lack of intensity with the Yankees right now. The lineup looks completely lifeless. Makes me deeply miss the days of Paul O'Neill and Brett Gardner, who provided the exact kind of spark and grit this roster desperately needs. They brought an unmatched competitive edge to the dugout, whether they were keeping everyone accountable or taking out their frustrations on a water cooler.
That's a very convenient thing to say. I feel like anytime the team is not going well, and listen, I love both of those guys. So it's not a knock on Paul O'Neill. It's not a knock on Brett Gardner, because they were tremendous Yankees. But I think it's very easy, Sal, to look at the body language within the dugout when a team is not going well and be like, oh, somebody's got to get mad. Oh, somebody's got to throw a water cooler. Somebody's got to go and throw a couple of bats. Is it going to help you swing the bat?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think it's the lack of quality players, but it's not just like, well, this lineup is bad. They need to build it back up. Like, they're ravaged by, they got arguably their three best, well, outside of Ben Rice, the three best hitters are out, and they've been playing without him for quite some time. You take Aaron Judge out of the lineup, like, it's why I wanted them to bring back Soto from a Yankee perspective, because he was insurance for Aaron Judge. Ben Rice, though, has been as good as you could possibly be, and it's still not good enough with this Yankee offense. But you lose Judge and Stan at the same time, throw on top of that Bellinger, then the guys that aren't doing their job, whether it's Dominguez, whether it's Jazz being inconsistent, Austin Wells being totally useless, McMahon being totally, it's a combination of a lot of things, but I do think it's things that can be solved simply with Aaron Judge returning to the lineup. Judge, Bellinger, Stanton back in that lineup, plus whatever they add, that's going to be enough offense for me, which is why I'd still focus on Schoolboy.
How excited are you for this deadline to finally come to a close?
Oh my goodness.
God. Can it just happen?
Well, but that's my point.
And Sal, nothing has happened. Like, there are some years where we get a couple of nice dangling carrots along the way. What are the two trades that have been made right now? It's like David Peterson. It's AJ Minter. There's maybe been another random trade here or there.
Hoppy.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's what we got.
But I think it's bad for baseball because they have too many teams that are going to decide to try to make the postseason. They push the deadline back till August, which makes no sense. And really, outside of Schoolboy, assuming Miller stays put, who are the big names here? Like, that's it. There's one big name. Back in the day, it used to be a lot more teams wheeling and dealing, selling off big time.
A lot more sellers. See, that's the thing. Right now, nobody's out of it.
Yeah.
And the teams that are selling, they got nobody other than the Mets who wants these guys. They stink.
Do you think, let's close with this, do you think the majority of action will come from now through the weekend or all on Monday?
No, I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay. So you think all 3 days this weekend? Yeah, then that's like, come on, dude. Like, I want to enjoy the weekend here. Now we're going to be going live on these trades. What's baseball?
No, you're going to be at the Sweet 16 when Bo Bichette gets traded. Sal, pull up the phone. We need you.
Yeah, exactly. I get my my wireless mics and away we go. All right, that does it for this edition of the New York Sports Rush. We appreciate you checking in. Make sure to like, download, rate, subscribe, and comment as we'll answer your comments on an upcoming episode. JJ, enjoy the rest of your vacation. We'll see you and enjoy the weekend, of course. We'll see you back here Monday. Bye.